The tarot has revealed a powerful and unsettling message, one that points to a moment of sheer emotional eruption, a night that spiraled completely out of control. Your person, the one your heart has been tied to, found themselves lost in a storm of their own emotions. The cards show swirling chaos, a tempest of feelings that built up over time and finally exploded last night. This wasn't just a momentary lapse in judgment. It was a cataclysm, a boiling point reached in a haze of confusion, frustration, and intoxicating emotions. The energy that surrounds this moment is volatile, the kind of energy that makes your heart pound just sensing it through the cards. Your person was overwhelmed, unable to contain the emotions they had suppressed for far too long. It all came to a head during a confrontation fueled by alcohol, exhaustion, and the weight of everything they had been carrying inside. The outburst that followed was not casual, not clumsy. It was sharp, deliberate, and emotionally raw. They said something that cannot be unsaid. It was a revelation so shocking, so deeply cutting, that it pierced through the air like a blade. The tarot shows the Tower, a card that represents complete destruction, sudden upheaval, and irreversible change. What your person said in that heated moment wasn't just a mistake. It was a truth that had been hiding in their heart, a truth so intense that speaking it shattered the fragile balance that existed between them and the third party. Time seemed to slow when the words were spoken. The air thickened with tension, the kind that makes people stop mid-breath. The atmosphere was electric, almost suffocating, as though the universe itself knew that a line had just been crossed. The Empress reversed appeared in the spread, symbolizing an energy turned toxic, nurturing turned into manipulation, beauty turned into deception. And your person saw it, clear as day, and finally let loose everything they had kept bottled inside. They didn't speak lightly. These were not random words thrown around in frustration. No, this was a calculated blow, aimed directly at the third party's character. In a voice trembling with rage and sorrow, they called the third party a heartbreaker with a silver tongue. That phrase alone carries immense weight. They accused the third party of being dangerously charming, someone who uses their charisma to captivate and control, but leaves behind devastation. The Knight of Swords reversed appears here, marking words that are sharp, impulsive, and meant to wound. Your person, perhaps unaware of just how far they would go, allowed all of their pent-up resentment to erupt in a single damning statement. They said that being with the third party had felt like walking through a beautiful storm, breathtaking, but destructive. They said they were manipulated, drawn in by sweetness and seduction, only to be emotionally played with and tossed aside like they were nothing. These weren't just insults, they were accusations born from real pain, spoken by someone who felt used, deceived, and broken. The Queen of Swords followed this revelation, the Queen of Truth, but also of pain, someone who cuts to the core and doesn't flinch from the consequences. And then, silence. For a few seconds, everything stood still. The third party froze, their face pale with shock, eyes wide with disbelief. They had never heard your person speak with such raw emotion, such intensity. The Ace of Wands reverse showed the energy shift. What once was passion now turned into destruction. A fire that once burned for desire now raising everything in its path. The third party's response? Absolute fury. They snapped back, their words equally sharp, equally venomous. But it was too late. The damage had been done. The third party's expression twisted in disbelief and outrage. They shouted, cursed, and denied every word. But underneath that fury was fear. Fear that your person had finally seen through the illusion. That they had finally woken up. The tarot shows the moon reversed, secrets revealed, illusions shattered. This wasn't just an emotional outburst. It was a confession, a final breaking point. Your person, perhaps inebriated, perhaps finally ready to confront the truth, had burned the bridge between them and the third party with words so potent they echoed in the walls. And now, nothing will ever be the same. The fallout has begun. The Five of Cups appears next, signaling deep regret, sorrow, and emotional loss. Your person is now sitting with the aftermath, possibly alone, the head in their hands, trying to make sense of what they've done. They're not proud of how it happened, but deep inside, there's a strange sense of release. The truth is out. The mask is off. The illusion has been shattered. There's no more pretending. And now they are thinking of you. The tarot indicates the presence of the lovers, not upright, but sideways. A choice has been made, but the consequences are still unfolding. Your person is thinking about the path not taken, the person they left behind, you, and how that choice led to all of this. They wonder if it's too late to fix what's broken between you. They wonder if, after all this chaos, there is still a place in your heart for them. Because here's what you need to know: the outburst, as destructive as it was, may have been the catalyst for change. It's possible that this emotional storm cleared the air and forced your person to confront the truth they had been running from. The third party has shown their true colors, and your person can no longer ignore what they've seen. They are wounded, yes, but they are waking up, and the tarot shows hope. The final card drawn is the Star, healing, clarity, a glimmer of light after darkness. Though the night was painful, though the storm was fierce, there is still the potential for a new beginning. If your heart still holds space for them, if you're willing to hear the truth, then perhaps, just perhaps, this painful moment could be the beginning of something real, something raw, and something honest between you. But it's up to you. The cards have revealed the truth. What you choose to do with it, that's your power now. Would you like a follow-up reading to explore what your person is thinking about you now? They stood in silence for a split second, completely stunned by the blow. The words, sharp and deliberate, didn't just fall into the space between them, they pierced it. They hung in the air, heavy with meaning, cutting deeper than anyone had anticipated. It was as though time had frozen, holding its breath at the edge of a storm. But then the shock began to dissolve, and rage started to bubble up from within. It wasn't just a careless insult. It was a declaration, a line drawn in the sand, a gauntlet thrown with precision. The words had sliced through the armor each of them wore, exposing wounds they had fought to bury. The third party, caught between what had been said and what had been felt, experienced a flood of emotions: confusion, pain, humiliation. They were not just insulted, they were revealed, as if someone had peeled away their exterior and exposed their deepest flaw for everyone to see. The accusation, harsh and pointed, had hit a nerve, one buried beneath layers of denial and defense. They felt cornered, like a wild animal with no path left but to strike. No, they weren't going to let it slide. They weren't going to sit silently in the wake of such a verbal assault. Something ancient stirred in them, something primal. And when the rage kicked in fully, the air around them shifted. Everything changed. The third party exploded with anger. Their voice rose, no longer measured or calm, but fierce and trembling with fury. They fired back, not just defending themselves, but launching their own barrage of words. The room, once still and uncertain, ignited like dry wood catching flame. A battlefield of voices emerged, and words became weapons. No one held back. Insults flew like arrows, and accusations roared like cannon fire. Tension thickened, choking the space between them. What had begun as a disagreement had spiraled into something far deeper, an emotional war that had been silently brewing for far too long. And now, it was erupting with devastating force. Threats were made, harsh and heated, formed in the crucible of pain and pride. Neither side yielded. Neither side blinked. Each word burned a bridge. Each retort sealed a fate. And as the battle raged on, something irreversible occurred. By the time the last word had been flung and the room fell into breathless silence once more, all that remained was the echo of destruction. The ashes of what once was friendship, trust, connection, now floated through the aftermath. It was over. But endings, as painful as they are, often mark the beginning of something new. Now, let's talk about you. Because while that fiery confrontation scorched the past, something far more powerful is rising from the embers. A surge of abundance is heading your way. Yes, you. The energy surrounding you is shifting, and a wave of prosperity is about to make its way into your life. All that you've endured, all that you've sacrificed, all that you've released, it was not in vain. The universe has felt your struggle, and now it is preparing to reward your resilience. In tarot, the Empress card is a symbol of creation and nurturing, but she is also a powerful force of financial and earthly abundance. Her energy flows with fertility, not just of the body, but of the spirit, the mind, and yes, your wallet. She arrives now in your reading as a beacon of what's to come, blooming success, growing wealth, and an overflow of opportunity. This isn't just a trickle of prosperity. This is a torrent. You are entering a prime window of manifestation, a time where your financial dreams, the ones you've whispered quietly in your heart, are finally ready to take form. But to fully receive these blessings, you must be open. Let your mind expand. Let your heart be willing. And most of all, believe. Because this isn't just about hard work. It's about alignment. The divine energy is orchestrating events in your favor. But you must meet it halfway. Stay alert. Opportunities will appear, some in unexpected places, others in surprising ones. A new job offer, a side project, an investment idea, even an unexpected gift or windfall. These are not coincidences. They are answers. To prepare for this incoming abundance, visualize yourself already within it. Picture wealth in your hands. See your bills paid, your dreams funded, your needs and your desires both fulfilled. Imagine not just surviving, but thriving. Imagine giving generously, living freely, and experiencing security not just as a dream, but as your reality. Let that energy fill you. Let it lift you. Let it transform you. At the same time, hold space for gratitude. Even now, before the financial floodgates fully open, express thanks for what you already have. Gratitude is not just a spiritual practice, it is a magnet for more. When you acknowledge your blessings, you amplify them. Say thank you for the small coins, for the food on your table, for the clothes on your back, for the support around you. Gratitude says to the universe, I am ready for more. Now, take inspired action. This is the time to move, not with fear, but with faith. Set your intentions, but don't just dream. Work, speak, reach. The universe is creating momentum, but your steps must guide the flow. This abundance is not out of reach. It is already yours. You're not begging for scraps. You're stepping into your birthright. You are meant to prosper. You are meant to rise from the ashes of what burned down. And when you do, you will look back at that battlefield not with bitterness, but with clarity. Because that moment of destruction cleared the path for divine blessing. It cut ties with what no longer served you. And now, you are free to walk toward a future overflowing with light, stability, and abundance. The worst is behind you. The wealth is ahead of you. Step forward. The Empress is calling. Are you ready to receive her gift?